So it is back to school week this week, yay! Thankfully, I'm not going back. Cadence did and Jade did, which is kind of why I'm by myself this week because Kendra's working, and so in honor of back to school week, because my girls are in high school, I figured I would do what I wish I knew about high school before I went to high school, which kind of sounds like you'll get this generic crap that everybody else will tell you about high school. Wrong, sir. This is actually like crap that would have been really helpful to know. Like the first thing, if you're a freshman, you're gonna get a lot of crap. Like a lot of crap for being a freshman. But in the same regard, they don't really care what you do as long as you're not in their way. And if you're, kind of not really in anybody's way, nobody will really care. Next thing is, it's okay to steal people's food. Like, not other people's food. Like, your friend's food. And if you kind of mix it all together, you'll get a pretty good lunch, even though school lunches suck. So, if you bring a lunch and everybody else buys their lunch and so on and so forth, if you kind of swap some things out, everybody will get a pretty decent lunch. Next thing, if you go to your locker quite a few times, you probably shouldn't. I personally, I didn't. So I didn't know a lot of people that did go to their lockers. But keep it as, condensed as possible. The longer you're at your locker, the closer you are to that couple that's making out a few lockers down from you, and that's just gross. Just try and avoid that. Another thing. Cadence brought this to my attention. Why are certain parts of band looked down upon within the music program? I don't really know what that's about. But the music people are the coolest people you'll probably ever meet. That and the theater kids. The theater kids are really cool. Like, yeah, they're really kind of weird, and the band kids are kind of weird, and you can kind of tell who's who. But if you make friends with some of those guys, you'll be pretty set. Like, they're the coolest kids you're gonna meet. And if you're in a sport, I wasn't, because I don't do sports, but they're cool. But make sure that you make friends with people outside of your team. Make sure that you do that, so that you're not kind of pigeonholed, and you don't really talk to anybody outside of your team, and nobody outside of your team really talks to you. That's just not good. So kind of be an all-around person. And as far as junior and senior year goes, it's not the end of the world. If your grades aren't so great, work at it. But other than that, it's really not the end of the world. My grades kind of sucked the tail end of senior year, and I did pretty well, and I know Kendra was kind of the same way, and we did okay. We did all right. So if you got one bad grade, it's not the end of the world. It's not the end all be all. So don't let them convince you that it's the world's going to explode if your ACT or your SAT, depending on where you are, sucks. That's kind of bad, because I did pretty well on the ACT because I kick butt in every English ever. So there's that. But yeah, it's really not the end all be all if something's not as good as the rest of everything else. And as far as electives go, because you'll get a lot of those, pick stuff that you actually really like, not something that would look good on a resume. I took mythology and anything as close to mythology as I could get, every year. I took mythology, and then I took Western thought, and I took some other stuff that was as close along the same lines as I could get, and they're all English courses. So if you really like English courses, take electives that really interest you in the English department or the art department or whatever you like to do. Make sure that you take that class that you really will enjoy taking. And if you don't like it, that's okay. You can go in and after a couple days try and change it. Ask to be switched around. It happens all the time. Everybody goes in and kind of switches some stuff around, and there are kids in one class that end up in a totally different class, and that's totally okay. And for you special brand of art students who are my graphic designers, because I was a graphic designer by complete accident, and I took it junior and senior year. Have fun with it. Find what's good for you, because I sucked at the photography portion, kind of, and I sucked at the gift making portion of the class, but I rule at typography, and it's not as easy as people like to make it out to be, or anything like that, but I really enjoyed it. And so you have to find the thing that works for you. If it's making gifts, or doing t-shirts, or making posters, or what else did we do? We made a lot of stuff. Or making business cards, because that was, I don't know, there was this chick in my class who just really enjoyed making business cards. It was weird. So whatever you like to do, make sure that you get time to do that, which is kind of the general rule for high school. Whatever you like to do, make sure that you make time to do that. Whether it's sports, or art, or math, or science, or whatever, make sure you take classes for that, and you make time for that. Join a club, go out, make friends that like the same things that you do. And I promise you, your high school experience will be a lot easier if you make friends doing things that all of you like to do. And it's not bad. And if there isn't a club for what you like to do, make one, start one. There are tons of people that like the same things that you do and are just as equally upset that there's not a club for it. So if you make a club for whatever you like to do that doesn't already exist, more power to you. I promise you people will join. Because in my sophomore year, we did not have a creative writing club, but there was this big, huge community that I talked to, that I knew about, that just did not have anywhere to go. So we made one. We created a club, and that was 2010, 2011, something like that. And going into this year, and I graduated in 2012. All of the founding members graduated between 2011 and 2012. And, we have our successor, and the club is still going very strong. There's still a lot of people that join, and I keep up with the people that are in it. And, if you need that outlet, go ahead, go make it. Don't wait for it to come up. So you go and you make that club for something that you like, and I promise you will be in touch, with that community for a lot longer than if you had just kind of talked about it and wished that it was there. So just, as a general rule, go out, do something that you like, and it'll last for a long time if you go out and have fun while you're still keeping your grades up and doing everything else that you're supposed to be doing. So, in honor of back to school week, just, find something that fits you, and you'll be okay. You'll be good. But, that's it for this week, and I'll see you guys next week. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let me know what you want me to do next week, whether it's challenge or some weird stuff. I don't know, because the girls are talking about they kind of want to do some videos. So let me know, and we'll see you next week. Bye!